नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी वशत्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा वासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा माई जय सुदर्शन। जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया सुदर्शन चक्र की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरचंद्र की जय। गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री दामोदर मास महोत्सव की जय। श्रील भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurum Dinadarinam Brahmanandamadavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So we are continuing our journey of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in the Canto 1, Chapter 17. We have finished until text number 33. Today we are going to continue from text number 34. Text 34. In all sacrificial ceremonies, although sometimes a demigod is worshipped, the Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead is worshipped because He is the super soul of everyone and exists both inside and outside like the air. Thus, it is He only who awards all welfare of the worshipper. So this is basically Kali Purusha is talking to Parikshit Maharaj is talking to Kali Purusha. As we all know, Parikshit Maharaj is here to punish the Kali Purusha. And Kali Purusha, he gave up all his Kshatriya dress and he surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj said, I can't kill you, but at the same time, I can't allow you to remain in my kingdom because you will promote all this misfortune, greed, falsehood, robbery, treachery, misfortune, quarrel, vanity, all will be present where you are present. And whereas the place you do not deserve a place where the sacrifices happen. So the object that immediately the objection that Kali Purusha will give is, I am also one of the demigods, right? Kali Purusha is one of the demigods as well. So he may say that, see, you do sacrifices for the demigods, I am one of the demigods, and it's my time to to be prominent, because this is my time allocated to be my Supreme Personality of Godhead, so you should allow me to remain. So to counteract the point, that particular point, this verse he is talking about, where Parikshit Maharaj is saying, yes, see, all the sacrifices the demigods are worshipped, but ultimately all the sacrifices that are done for the demigods, they ultimately serve the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas you particularly, when something is done in when it is something is done for you, it basically only promotes irreligiosity. There is no service that is done through Kali Purusha, right? Even Maya Devi, she is doing service to the Lord. So our acharyas, they describe that that Maya Devi, she does one very wonderful, valuable service for the Lord, that she makes sure that the prisoners remain within the prison, and she checks whether a prisoner is thoroughly reformed before he is sent out of the prison. So even what Maya Devi does is a service to the Lord, but what Kali Purusha does, it's not even testing. All he does is to create disturbance in the society. Right? He only causes degradation, whereas Maya Devi tests us, kicks us, gives us a reminder that this is a horrible place to live. But Kali Purusha's only activity is to degrade people, right? From any kind of, whether it is materially or spiritually, whether they are in a high position, it is to degrade them, right? That's why if you see, the first impact was to Brahmanas, because they were the head of the society. And Kali Purusha's first act was to cut off the head. So here, it is explained. And then Srila Prabhupada also, quotes from Bhagavad Gita that whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. So even though there are others, the offering ultimately goes to Krishna. A devotee who understands this, Prabhupada writes, is only will engage in devotional service and not all these anything, because that's an indirect way of doing service, and a devotee would rather prefer to do it directly rather than doing it indirectly. So you know. So that is what is being mentioned here in verse number 34. Text 35. Sri Suta Goswami said, the personality of Godhead, thus being ordered by Maharaj Parikshit, began to tremble in fear, seeing the king before him like Yamaraja ready to kill him. Kali spoke to the king as follows. Now, initially, this is again the nature of Kali Yuga, right? People act as if they are very brave, bold when they meet weak people. But when they meet people who are, stronger than them, they fall at their feet. Isn't it? We see that, right? If somebody is more stronger than, it's like a jungle Raj. They call it jungle Raj. Where the stronger conquers the weaker. So, in the society today, if somebody is very strong politically with money or, any other way he is strongly connected, people will all and fall at his feet. And when the same guy loses his power, then they, lord over him. So it is basically, not based, those days it was based on character. A Brahmana was highly respected because he had the highest character, and then a sannyasi was worshipped because he has given up everything for the service of the society. So such persons were glorified and worshipped, whereas in Kali Yuga it's the other way around, and we see that this started with Kali. He was punishing both the Gomata and the Bhuma Devi and Dharma, right? Now Bhuma Devi by nature is very merciful, right? She is very merciful. She's not weak hearted, but she is very kind hearted, right? And she is very tolerant. Bhuma Devi is the most one of the greatest example of tolerance, right? Because if you see, even today we do so much nonsense to Bhuma, to earth. If the whole world is polluted, the whole world is made into a waste bucket, right? Everywhere there is pollution. As we were discussing, even the deepest part of the ocean, there are plastics they found in the Marina Trench. They did a voyage down there, and the deepest part of the ocean they went, and they were amazed because there was plastic, right? And then there were plastic everywhere. And if you see the whole society, it's like, they are troubling so much Bhuma Devi, so much mining, so much drilling for the oil, right? They drill and they use dynamites and, to do, so much exploitation of Bhuma Devi happens. But she keeps on giving more and more and more to us. She's so merciful. So, because by nature she was merciful, Kali was punished. She was merciful to Kali as well, even though he was hurting her, and he was hurting Dharma. Also we saw that even when the king asked him, right, who is the one who is causing you trouble, he did not point to Kali, because by nature he had a very high philosophical understanding. He was a true Vaishnava. So Kali was was very harsh with him. But the moment a powerful devotee came in front of him, he surrendered, right? So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that at the end of the day, Kali has surrendered himself to a king. Surrender means you are ready to accept whatever decision the other person gives. So even if the king actually had the right to also kill Kali Purusha, because he has surrendered. But also in the next purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing that the Vedic literature says that if somebody surrenders, they should not be killed. So Parikshit Maharaj, being a devotee, understood that position, and he was careful not to go against the Shastras. So now Kali is talking to Parikshit Maharaj. He is saying, "O your majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall but see you with bow and arrows wherever I look." So see, where Kali is coming from is, by nature he is a mischief monger, right? We all know how Kali Yuga, Manda Buddhi, Manda Bhagya, and full of conflicts, right? The nature of Kali is to create conflicts and degrade people. right? Now Parikshit Maharaj has said that, you're not fit to live in any place where there's all these good things are happening. So now, this guy, after surrendering, he says, like, I may live everywhere, but if I'm not able to do what I'm supposed to do, which is my nature, then it is almost, and if I try to do what is my nature, I will always be in fear of you, because, the moment I, do my activities, you're going to punish me. So you may pardon me, you may not kill me now, right now, but the moment I act, even, nobody can control their nature, right? That's, everybody goes with the nature. Other than devotees, nobody has the capability. Even demigods can't control their nature. We see how Indra, acts out of pride and lust, and even Brahma. We see Lord Brahmadeva, who is the origin of all the devatas. Even he got carried away by pride, and then he has to pray to Lord Krishna to forgive him. So the question that is asked here is that is, where do I live? What is my position? Because now that you are a devotee and you are ruling everywhere, I can't create problem anywhere, right? I can't act according to my nature. Even Brahma and Indra acted according to their nature, but I can't. By nature is to degrade others and to pull people down and to create conflict and all those things. And if I can't do my job, anywhere I live, even if I act a little bit according to my nature, I'm going to be very scared that you're going to come and punish me. So he's saying that, this is not a good position for me. Text 37. Therefore, O chief among the protectors of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protection of your government. So now Kali is acting very, very intelligent, because he's, ultimately he's a demigod as well. And so he's saying, please give me, under your protection, please give me a place to live. Right? He's being very expert, because he's saying, so, instead of him taking one place and sitting there and later the king coming and punishing him, he says, you give me some place to live, right? You give me one country where I can live, and only those people I'll affect. Some place you have to give me, right? I can't, not act according to my nature and, all those things. So you please give me, Kali is acting very intelligent, right? Because, if you give a small place to him, he will gradually capture all other places. Like we were seeing last week, we may think, oh, I have a big house, the TV is only a small part of it. But within the TV, there are 100 channels. So we have actually given 100 places for Kali to live. So Kali is very expert. Even if you give him, like, a very small place, he'll take that and make it into a very, very big place. He'll, with that, starting from that place, he'll conquer the whole world. So he had that plan. So, he asked Parikshit Maharaj, you give me some place, I don't need a lot of place, but you need to give me some place where I can do my natural activity and do whatever I am supposed to do. Sorry. So he is requesting, for a place to live. Suta Goswami said, Maharaj, Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Godhead, personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. So now Parikshit Maharaj is also equally intelligent, or actually he's much, much more intelligent than any demigod, right? Because he's a pure devotee of the Lord. We saw how, in one of the previous verses of Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, we saw how devotees are as powerful as the Lord, they are more powerful than the Lord in some circumstances, because Krishna empowers them like that. Right? We see how Mother Yashoda, we are doing Damodar Mass, we are doing Kartik Mass. So we see how Krishna empowered Mother Yashoda. She became so powerful that she is more powerful than Krishna, because only a person who is more powerful than one person can bind that person. Right? We see how if Mother Yashoda is able to bind Krishna, that means she is more powerful than Krishna. Right? So that, that power also comes ultimately from Krishna, but Krishna empowered Mother Yashoda, right? Similarly, the devotee of the Lord is empowered by the Lord to do activities that are beyond our comprehension. So, Parikshit Maharaj being an intelligent devotee, his intelligence is not measurable by yours and ours. Like, the same thing applies to Srila Prabhupada as well. We see how his intelligence, actually, if you read this particular purport, we'll see that the particular purport is actually, if you see, Prabhupada gives instructions to the leaders of the society. Right? He says, how the kings or the administrators should, make their, how they should guide their, citizens. For us, it may look like, Prabhu, what are we talking about? Why is Prabhupada, because, nobody is going to, we don't see any, leaders today being devotees, but what Srila Prabhupada can see, we cannot see. Because Prabhupada also one time told his devotees, I think it was Rameshwar Maharaj, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj were there in the car, and Srila Prabhupada said, my books will be the, law books for the next 10,000 years. Right? Meaning, whatever Srila Prabhupada, whatever standard he has set in the books will be followed by all the people of the world. That would become the standard upon which the law and order is, judged. So you see this verse, the purport to this verse, it may look fantastical to us, but then in the future, this is all going to happen. When the golden age, fully manifest, it has already started. The golden age within the Kali Yuga, when it is all these things, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada talks about, everybody following Ekadasi. We see that it happened in the past. There was this king, even Muchukunda, right? He was, in his kingdom, there was this story, last Ekadasi story we saw, Muchukunda, how his daughter was married to a particular person, and he was very weak. His body was very weak, but so for him, fasting was very, very difficult. Right? But then his wife said, there is no way that you cannot, fast. One time they came he came to his father-in-law's house, palace, and, his daughter, his wife said, see, there is no way that you cannot follow Ekadasi in my father's kingdom. It doesn't matter even if you die, but you have to follow the Ekadasi. She says that my king is so strict that even horses and elephant, they are not fed food on Ekadasi day, grains on Ekadasi day. Now, that's how strict Muchukunda was. He made sure that all the humans and the domesticated animals, everybody fasted on Ekadasi day, twice a month, every year. That's how he ran his kingdom. Right? And there was one other king, Vishnu Purana talks about a king who was so Ekadasi with, every day before Ekadasi, hundreds of announcers will go in elephants and to each village and everywhere in the world, whole emperor. He was the emperor of the whole world, and he'll go and announce tomorrow is Ekadasi. Nobody can eat grains and all this thing, and he was super strict. So everybody was following Ekadasi in his kingdom, right? And suddenly, what happened was, there was nobody coming to Yamadharmaraja's place. Suddenly all the jivas were going back home, back to Godhead. Everybody was going back home, back to Godhead. And then Yamadharmaraja saw, what is happening? Nobody is coming. I'm jobless. There's a redundancy. It's like COVID-19. There is no job. Similarly, Ekadasi 19, there was no job. Actually, it's Ekadasi is 50. We have 26 Ekadasi, so we should call it Ekadasi 26, not COVID-19. This is Ekadasi 26. He went and said, this Ekadasi, this king has done such a thing that nobody is coming to, he went and complained to Brahma, I am complex. And if I stay like this, you will make me redundant. What will I do then? You some or other, please remove this king. As long as he is the king, everybody will follow Ekadasi. And as long as they follow Ekadasi, there is no way they will come to my kingdom. So, and Srila Prabhupada is saying that it's a duty of the heads to make sure that this happens. And then, Srila Prabhupada, talks about how to encourage vegetarianism, and people, who can't follow vegetarianism, how they can be, through sciences, they can be regulated and slowly moved away from the path of the dharma. What Srila Prabhupada says is that yes, in certain circumstances, we see for certain class of men, the meat is allowed. Like, if somebody is a dacoit, The Shastra gives rules for dacoits also. They can't do dacoitry in they have to go bring a goat and or an animal and sacrifice it went of Kali on a particular day, and then when Kali is satisfied, she will give a sign, then only these guys can go and rob. Because what Shastra understands is that is there will be that class of men also in the world, not that everybody will be high class men. So there should be some opportunity for them also to improve from where they are to the next stage. So Srila Prabhupada talks about Pravritti Marg and Nivritti Marg. Pravritti Marg is gradually, you being a dacoit, you slowly come to Milecha. From Milecha, you become a Shudra. Then slowly you become a Brahmana. And then in Brahmana, you go to the Sannyasi. And then you go to heavenly planets and gradually, until Brahmaloka. Nivritti Marga is for people who just use this life, surrender to the Lord, and go back home, back to God. So that's a straightforward one. So anyway, dharma is given for everybody, and it is the whole idea is that is even though eating meat is adharma, it is a bad practice, still the Shastra allows for certain kind of men. So Srila Prabhupada says maybe those kind of men can be allowed to eat meat under certain circumstances, like they eat only the meat that's offered in the sacrifice, and then but then in Kali Yuga that also is not possible, because all the yajnas they are all we are not the only yajna that works is Sankirtan yajna, right? And Srila Prabhupada also talks about there are very this contrast. Prabhupada talks about how 24 and 16, all men should be married before 24, and all whoever wants to get married, and then all women should be married by the age of 16. But we know that the legal age of marrying is 18 in all over the world. But what I'm trying to say is that is Srila Prabhupada is such a visionary like Srila Parikshit Maharaj, that whatever he has written is all going to come true. What he is writing is for how to guide the future leaders of the society. They're going to read this purport, is going to become their. We may not be able to see this thing in in front of our eyes, but it's all going to happen. That's the reason Srila Prabhupada has written this. Right, and then I was talking about the Pravritti and Nivritti Marga. There is a gradually people have to go slowly go up the ladder to move away from adharma into dharma. But in Kali Yuga it is very difficult, because we can't do sacrifices. There is pure brahmanas to help us. Whereas in Sankirtan Yajna, what happens is, as soon as we start doing Sankirtan Yajna, all the bad things gets away from our heart automatically. So that is also described by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. So, the ideal way is, as devotees, we should be, we should take this by heart, this verse, and slowly, gradually, not on day one, gradually help others to come to this level of giving up these 4 irreligious activities. Text 39. The personality of Kali asked for something more. And because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, because where there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, enmity. It's a very, Kali also knows, because as I was saying, Parikshit Maharaj was super intelligent. He said, you give me some place. Parikshit Maharaj gave him 4 places. Where there is drinking, where there is animal slaughterhouses, where there is gambling and prostitution. Now, Kali became alarmed. He tried to act smart, and then Parikshit Maharaj was super smart than him, right? Many times more smart than him. So, Kali's plan backfired. He said, he thought that I'll take some little place, and from there gradually I'll grow and take over the world. That was his plan. And then it completely backfired on him. So he got alarmed, and then he started begging for more. He said, in your kingdom there is no place where these 4 things exist. Parikshit Maharaj was such a great king, that these 4 places, did not exist in Parikshit Maharaj's country, wherever he was ruling. So Kali became alarmed. He said, you need to give me something, because this whatever you are describing is a non-existent place. So then Parikshit Maharaj, being an expert devotee, he now gives the place gold, right? Money, right? We see how money is the root cause of evil in Kali Yuga. Everybody is behind money. Everybody is crazy, right? It's considered the topmost. Why? Because Kali Purusha is sitting there, and Kali Yuga he is the topmost, right? That's why everybody thinks Kali is the topmost. So money or gold, Hiranya, it represents Kali Yuga. Why did Parikshit Maharaj give this place to him? Because, as Bhagavatam explains, where there is gold, there is falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enemy. So, the other four are the pillars of Kali Yuga, and on top of Kali Yuga is sitting is the base. So, it's like four pillars and a base. So, he has a roof over his head now. He has four pillars and a roof over his head. And what is his roof? Is the gold. So, wherever these four principles are there, definitely at that place Kali will be sitting. You know, we may ask a question. I know people who don't drink, who don't eat meat, but if somebody has the principles, meat eating, intoxication, Srila Prabhupada say includes coffee, tea in intoxication. Chewing tobacco, smoking cigarettes, everything comes under intoxication. And then, don't eat meat, including avoiding onion, garlic. And then they don't gamble. And then they, they don't in prostitution. And then they are not interested in using gold for their own purposes. They are not mad behind money. Then there is no way Kali Purusha can sit in their heart. Their heart will become very clear. Definitely become clear. There is no way that their heart will be allowed. Only if any of this one principles, even a slight amount, is there in the heart, that's where all kinds of corruption comes into the heart. Because Bhagavatam, I'm not saying this, Bhagavatam in this verse, it has said that, falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. So many people ask this question, how to give up lust, how to give up falsity, how to be truthful, how to be not envious. That means we have to give up these five principles thoroughly. A practical, Srila Prabhupada also explains. And then Prabhupada talks, how, Srila Prabhupada was such a great scholar. You can see in every space or in every sphere of life, Srila Prabhupada had a thought process which were much higher than the people in their particular thought. Srila Prabhupada in this talks about economy. If you read the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada talks about he talks how the money that is a false currency that is printed, even though it is on par with gold, it is actually not real gold, and because of that, it encourages all bad things in the society. And Srila Prabhupada says, as long as we go back to the original standard of using gold coins, then that would curb most of the illegal activities that are happening. We see how many countries, they now print even money that is not even whatever money they want. If you take euro or American dollar, they print whatever that comes to their mind. They keep on printing, as long as there are idiots who will consume it, who think that their money is great. They'll keep on printing. And the other countries who don't have that much power, they cannot print their money. So it's purely exploitation, right? Falsehood. And Srila Prabhupada writes about it in the purport, and you can see how Srila Prabhupada was such a visionary that 3 years back he was able to exactly predict how the economy will be going, that everything is based on falsity. Now people have gone even further worse. Leave alone using false currencies. Now they're using things that are not even currency. Now people thing like, this cryptocurrency, they call it, Bitcoin and things like that. It is of no value. There is no underlying principle, but still, it is the highest. It is like 10 times costlier than gold today. Gold is $3,000 a kilo. Bitcoin, one coin is like 25,000, 30,000 something. I don't know. It has no base, and it's one day, it's all just a teach. Someday, one day, suddenly it will vanish into thin air, and nothing will remain. And everybody who has invested, they will all become idiots. It's all falsity, right? Because nobody know where is the real currency is. You can't see the real currency. You can't even feel it. Prabhupada is talking even about this, paper currency itself. Prabhupada is condemning in this purport. Then how it will be to all these pseudo currencies, which are actually, there's no system, nothing. And you can't use the money to buy. You can't go to, Kohl's or Woolworths or any shop and say, hey, I have a Bitcoin, I'll give you $20,000. You please give me, a $20,000 worth of. Nobody will accept on that. But still, they've created a hype and they're, pouring billions of dollars into that. It's all a ridiculous thing that is happening in the world. But then that's the nature of Kali Yuga. What is false will be considered the greatest. So if something is considered greatest in Kali Yuga, I'm talking in a material sense, then we can be very sure that it is a representation of Kali. Text 40. Thus the personality of Kali, by the directions of Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, was allowed to live in those 5 places. So now King Parikshit has given 5 places for Kali to live, right? So now we will see how Parikshit, how Kali Purusha. We'll see further how Parikshit Maharaj, re-established all the good in the world. Text 41. Therefore, whoever desires progressive well-being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, brahmanas and sannyasis, should never come in contact with the 4 above mentioned irreligious principles. So, this is very, 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 very important verse. So, this verse sets the standard who can be a devout leader in the society. It doesn't matter what kind of leader we are. We could be a leader of our family, we could be a leader of our community, we could be a leader of a country, we could be a religious leader, public, any kind of public position somebody is in. Now he could be a councilman, he could be a member of parliament, he could be a any position of leadership anywhere in the world, anybody takes up. And Prabhupada also uses the word religionist. That means anybody who calls himself interested in spiritual life. They all should avoid these 4 principles very vigorously. Otherwise, we are not fit to be leaders. Otherwise, we cannot call ourselves leaders. Because when these are there, it is going to cause all the other, because that place Kali is going to be there. That means the other principles that we are, when we talk about the falsehood, treachery, or, all those things will come into the heart. Right? This verse explains, because sometimes people think devotees are fanatics. The other day, I was in the, one of my colleagues, Indian, he is from an Indian background. So we were shopping, I met him in the shopping mall and we were shopping together in the Kohl's. And, as a devotee, it's like a secondary, nature. The moment we pick up any product, even though we would have bought it multiple times, we just turn back and read the ingredients list, right? That's our nature, right? I do this, even for products that I've been buying for many years, because they keep changing things. We don't know what they will add. So any product I take, the first natural instinct is to look at the ingredient list. So, and then, I took a couple of items and I took, kept a couple of items back. So, and then this colleague, he came and he picked up the same item. He said, why are you not taking this? I am also a vegetarian. I am also a Hindu. I consume this. Why are you avoiding it? And then I showed him that it contains traces of egg, or it is processed in the same same place where egg is processed. And then he's like, yeah, come on, you're being fanatic. The point is that is no. Then I told him, see, it's not a question of fanatic, it's just that I try to avoid, there are many other hundreds of other products which doesn't have these traces of egg, which is not processed in the same factory as the egg was processed, so I'm more happy with it. What is the problem? There's nothing wrong in avoiding something, right? It's as if you avoid something that you're doing something wrong. I'm not hurting. It's like, if people avoid it because they don't like the choice, that is okay. But if I avoid it because they are torturing an animal and taking their egg and killing it and using it, I am being fanatic. That's how the nature of Kali Yuga is. But the point is that is, sometimes others, they think that we are being fanatic. We are not being fanatic. This verse is the reason why devotees are so careful, because we don't want any traces of Kali to come into our heart. It's like allowing a spy from an enemy camp into our camp. We are all, Srila Prabhupada said, all devotees, we are all soldiers, right? And we are fighting against whom? Kali Purusha. Kali is our enemy. So why would we allow Kali Purusha or an agent of Kali Purusha to come and sit into our heart, even if it is traces? That's why devotees are so careful. They are extraordinarily careful. They avoid all these things. Why? Because we don't want even a trace of Kali. Because if you give him a trace, he will start conquering the whole place. That is his capability. Devotees, we need because there are many reasons why. We are natural leaders, right? Every devotee is a preacher. The moment you are a preacher means what happens? People look up to you as a leader. They look up to you to see that because they see that we know something that they don't know, probably in spiritual life. It could be a very simple thing. It could be as simple as chant Hare Krishna, you are not the body or the soul, basic principles only. But even to teach that, we need to be very sure of these. We are doing it selflessly. Preaching means being selfless, and the real selflessness will come when the heart is pure. And if we have any trace, it may be trace of any Kali Yuga is there in the heart, then it cannot be truly possible to be fully unselfless. Sorry, truly not even a trace of selfishness remains in the heart. A leader means he should live for others. This is the role of a leader. And if he has any of the above forementioned principle, Kali is going to be there, and all the falsehood, cheating, vanity, selfishness, everything is going to go and sit in our heart. So as devotees, then this verse becomes a guiding principles for us, and that's why Srila Prabhupada was so strict about it. Thing that has the traces of these things, it cannot be offered to Krishna because Kali sits there and it is not fit to be offered. And because it cannot be offered, we should avoid it. I mean, I don't see a problem in avoiding it. There are thousands of other products which are pure, which can be used in the service of the Lord. So it's just it's just a choice of being more conscious, right? Taking a conscious decision. I don't want Kali. I'll try to avoid Kali wherever it is possible. Text 42. Thereafter, the king established the lost legs of the personality of religion, the bull, and by encouraging activities he sufficiently improved the condition of the earth. So Srila Prabhupada in this verse, he talks about how, because you see, Prabhupada is, how Prabhupada is. Previous verse, he mentioned only the fourth, even though 5 places were given to Kali, we were talking only about avoiding the 4 regulative principles. We have only 4 regulative principles. Why did, the gold, was not completely prohibited? Because of the purport Srila Prabhupada has returned to this verse. So by nature, gold is very corrupting. But the gold, when it is under a brahmana or a devotee, it can be used to encourage dharma and discourage adharma. Right. So if the proper devotees, the money should. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he talks about how every devotee. He also talks about it in the previous verses. In many purports, Srila Prabhupada talks about how everyone who's earning money, 50% of it should be given to the Lord. Why? By nature, when gold is used in the service of the Lord, it is purifying. Otherwise, all money is corrupting. So, how do we purify ourselves? Is the Prabhupada writes in the purport is 50% of it should be engaged in the service of the Lord. So we can't eat anything that is not prasadam, right? So we offer everything to the Lord. Whatever we do, it is all centered around the deity at home or at the temple. Then what happens is that is whatever money we spend, it all becomes, then it all purified, and that there cannot be kali. The moment we don't do this, we don't. I talked about 4 principles. One, kali, gold can be avoided. The other 4 has to be completely avoided. 5th one is very difficult to avoid. It's not that we can live without money. There are some people who live without money, that then they are sannyasis, right? If you don't want to touch money, then better to become sannyasi, and that's not a lifestyle that's fit for everybody. So that means then we have to, it's a necessity evil. That means that we have to have money, and if we have money, we are going to get corrupted. Cycle. The only way to break the cycle is taking up what we earn and give it to the Lord. Thereby what happens, and then the rest of the money also is spent always in relationship Krishna. So what happens is that is the gold, instead of being a place of kali, will be acting as a purifier. That's what Srila Prabhupada writes in the gold is certainly a generator of falsity, intoxication, prostitution, enmity, and violence. But under the guidance of a proper king or a public leader or a brahmana or sannyasi, the same gold can be properly utilized to re-establish the lost legs of bull, the personality of religion. So Srila Prabhupada says, the same money can be used. And he says, one's accumulated wealth may be divided into 3 parts for distribution, namely 50% for the service of the Lord, 25% for the family members, and 25% for personal necessities. This is how we need to, use our money. Otherwise, the money that is agent value. So we need to be extra careful. And Srila Prabhupada says the same money, when it is used to encourage, used in Sankirtan Yajna, instead of bringing about, all these things, prostitution, enmity, violence, everything, rather the same, money, can be used to bring about austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness if it is used in Sankirtan Yajna. As devotees, the first 4 principles, right? Meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and prostitution has to be completely 100% avoided. No question about it. There is no exception there. But the 5th one, gold, there is some relief. We don't have to completely avoid it. But we need to make sure that a portion of it is always used in the service of the Lord. One suggestion Srila Prabhupada says, may is 50%, and that it may vary according to time, place, and circumstances, but some portion of our earning must be engaged directly in the service of the Lord. Text 43 and 44. The most fortunate emperor Maharaj Parikshit, who was entrusted with the kingdom of Hastinapura by Maharaj Yudhishthira, when he desired to retire to the forest, is now ruling the world with great success due to his being glorified by the deeds of the kings of Kuru dynasty. So this verse glorifies how Parikshit Maharaj, in spite of Kali Purusha being there, still he was able to establish dharma and create as a Satya Yuga, right? Kind of situation for all the people. That's how that's how intelligent a devotee is, right? Like we saw that someone said like we were hearing last week, Srila Prabhupada is such a wonderful expert, that he is so expert that he has created the world within the material world. Similarly, Maharaj Parikshit, even when Kali Yuga was there, he was able to implement Satya Yuga within that time. All the four legs, he was able to re-establish the four legs of Dharma. And he was sufficiently able to take care of Bhuma Devi as well. So if we devotees, if somebody talks about protecting the earth, taking care of earth and nature, everything, there is only one way to solve this problem, that is by becoming devotees and making other devotees. There is no other way. The last verse, text number 45. Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. So actually, Sutta Goswami is saying, because he is talking to all the rishis, right? Sutta Goswami Rishi and all the other rishis who are sitting there. There were 10 rishis who have gathered together to do a yajna to avoid the ill effects of Kali Yuga. But then, here Sutta Goswami is saying, you are thinking about doing such a thing and you are even executing it only because we had a king like Parikshit Maharaj. If he had not established, because today we see, right, we can't do yajnas like what those days they were doing, leave alone those days. I was hearing to a lecture by His Holiness Banaswami Maharaj. He was talking about how 50 years back, in Kerala, they did one very, 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 very extensive. Thousands of Brahmanas came together. They had a huge, yajna kunda and everything. And there were some researchers who came from America to document that yajna. And at the end of the documentation, they have written that this kind of sacrifice is the last of its kind. We will not see, because they are saying, what they are saying is, because based on how much resources they were used, they were predicting, like 60 years back, they were predicting after 50 years, 60 years, number one, they won't have this kind of brahmanas available who can do the mantras, and then there won't be there is no capability to arrange such a big yajna. People will not have capability such an elaborate procedure. The ingredients are needed. Most of it may not be available, and even if it is available, it will be very, very costly. So to do yajna on this scale in the future is not possible. So they are predicting, right? What they did just 50 years back, they say that in another, and which is true. We won't see that scale of yajna today to be conducted. So then the yajnas then that were conducted in the previous yugas are not at all possible, because Kali's nature is to degrade. It will not allow big sacrifices to happen. But we see they were able to do a yajna that in capability that was in same as that was done during Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga. They were able to do such a big yajna, 10,000 rishis coming together and doing a huge yajna. So Sutta Goswami is saying such a thing is possible here because Parikshit Maharaj has established Satya Yuga. Right? Similarly, devotees ask this question: how can we can change the whole world? The Sankirtan Yajna can be done, which will make it bigger than even the yajnas that were done by great kings in the last yuga. So all the yajnas that are done by the devotees, whether it is chanting, doing kirtan, public kirtan, distributing books, these are all great yajnas. So we should participate, and it is all possible, because in those days it was possible because of Parikshit Maharaj, and in our world it is possible because of Srila Prabhupada. If you think about it, we are all living here in a foreign country. Yesterday I went out, today morning also I went out, and then all the shopkeepers, when they saw that I am from an Indian background, they all said Happy Diwali, right? This was not possible a few years back. And then to have a temple in western to have a temple of Radha Krishna, Radha Gopinath in western world is unheard of. All the comforts of is available for us to do Sankirtan Yajna here. Srila Prabhupada has given us deities, wonderful devotees. He taught basically all the musical instruments, everything. Srila Prabhupada has made it available for us to do the yajna. So like these 10,000 rishis were able to do yajna previous days because of Maharaj Parikshit. Similarly, today, we are all able to do Sankirtan yajna because our king is our Srila Prabhupada, who has established this principle irrevocably, even in the Western countries, that anywhere anyone can practice this great yajna and purify by that. So that's the wonder of Srila Prabhupada. We can see how he is acting, according to parampara, how Parikshit Maharaj set an example. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada has set an example. So as his followers, it's our responsibility then to take it to the next level. When I say take it to the next level, it's not that we are going to do something higher than Srila Prabhupada, but take it to the next set of generation of devotees and pass it on the benefit that Srila Prabhupada has given us. So it's our responsibility. The more we give, the more we get. That's how spiritual life works. So we see that how that's a principle by all these great leaders lived in the past. And as devotees, whether we like it or not, we are all leaders. Every single devotee, he may be just coming and washing the temple, he may be just cleaning the temple, right? Outside world, that may be a very common job, but when he does it in the temple, he's actually being a leader of the society. Even a local prime minister is nowhere compared to a devotee who is cleaning the temple of the Lord. That's a powerful position we are in. So we are all natural leaders, whether we like it or not. The moment we become devotees, we are leaders. So then we need to act accordingly and try to help as many people as possible. So with that, we will finish this chapter. So we have finished the 17th chapter. Next week, we'll go into the 18th chapter. And then we'll go forward. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. As you all know, if you need any questions answered, please send a message or call me at 0414-018-739. Hare Krishna. Happy Diwali to everybody. Happy Govardhan Puja. So tomorrow in the temple there is Diwali festival, and Monday we are having a very big Govardhan Puja. We are doing a very big setup of the whole Govardhan Leela, and devotees are allowed darshan between 4:30 and 6:30. Then after 6:30 the temple will be closed for darshan, but the programs, like we will have Kirtan, Damodarashtakam followed by Gaur Arti, then Giriraj Arti, and then we will do a parikrama of Govardhan, going through every Leela places and hearing about each of the Leela places. So we'll do a Govardhan parikrama, virtual Govardhan parikrama, and then whoever, if you can also register at our website, and you will all get Govardhan Prasad. Whatever was kept in the Govardhan to make the Govardhan, we'll take it, pack it, and send it to you. So the request is, all of you, please get the mercy of Govardhan, and then enrich yourself spiritually and materially. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Thank you.